drifting in the stars, seeking out sources, seeking out the truth.
This is a sterile area. Keep out.
Now, the Hoopets are in hibernation, in hiding, quaking, fearing an enemy and fate worse than working in the super chat call center for Brendan, the Worm.
Oh no!
Now,
Everything that applied on this game. They've survived cosmic wars and holocausts. Here they are, out among...
can your super chats save them from being ingested?
Oops, indeed. Well, as we await the official invitation to tender for Doctor Who being issued by Kate Phillips, the Chief Content Officer at the BBC, fans have not adopted a period of silence, of abstinence from discussing the possibilities in the wake of the RTD era. No, we have been debating, chatting, speculating like Whovians always have done, in pubs, societies, unis, bedrooms, and in our own imaginations. Why should this period be any different? So, I was directed to a recent podcast on his own channel on the ponderings and ideas that Doctor Who writer Paul Magrs has for going forward. It's like a template, a guideline, a rule book, and he offered it out there for all of us to consume. So, I have my panel, I have the viewers, I have all our matrix of Doctor Who knowledge and nostalgia to tap into. And the Hoopets have stayed up later as well, partly because Walkie wet the bed. So let's get started. In the meantime, get liking, subscribing, reposting like good uns that you are. Thanks a lot for turning up. So we had a fun chat the other day. We had the original Sensphere crew on talking about what we thought was basically typically the Doctor Who mess. Yeah, that was a fun one. Check that out. And of course, we recently learned that the BBC haven't got a clue as usual because our TV producer source, who actually does talk to the BBC, said people within the BBC are saying, what do we do? What do we do? Everybody's just, I think people are pretty much at the end of the road with Doctor Who. So this is a good time to talk about new ideas and new formats, and Paul delivers on that. So all we have to do is get our panel on, and I think that's the first thing I need to do here. So there's Mara. Hello, everybody. Let's go across the pond. My mate, Christian, hiya.
Howdy, good to be here.
We met, first of all, a long time ago. He had loads of ideas for Doctor Who. I got him on. This is how it works.
There you go.
And, of course, we've got Dan. Dan slipped through the net, our detoxer, because, of course, he slagged off the Hoopets, and that got him on. So here he is. Hiya, Dan.
Hey guys, yeah, way to go, Brendan. I noticed in your intro you're incentivizing no super chats to keep the Hoopets off.
No, he's twisting it already. Garbage, ignore it. So, and of course, if it's the detoxers, we get them all on. We've got Tasmanian Devil on. Hello, Dwayne. Hiya.
Yes, g'day. How are you? I'm here to prove that Tasmanian Doctor Who fans aren't whiny, goggly-eyed lunatics, but I'm not sure I can do that. We'll see how we go.
It's the time we get them up. That's and of course, if they haven't woken up yet in Australia, there's a certain fella who might help them. It's Boomer Doug. Hiya, Boomer.
Hello, it's nice to be on the Sensphere tonight. And hello.
You're looking good for 100. You're looking good.
Thank you. I feel 110, so thank you.
Oh, well, it's good to have you on. So, of course, the first thing I wanted to show you was This is the desperate times. If they call this the wilderness years, you look for Doctor Who celebrities on any little daft program. For example, you can imagine that University Challenge item, couldn't you? Gallifrey v Scarrow. That would go down well, wouldn't it? I think 13 wouldn't have any answers because she didn't understand Doctor Who.
Agreed.
And of course, all we get now is all the people who are responsible for Doctor Who all having a good time, all being really happy with life, which is fine because you've all made friends from making Doctor Who. But the rest of us are going, but what's happened to the programme? The Christmas special's cancelled. And remember, the BBC Insider said to me that basically it was a rough draft of about 7 pages. RTD admitted it wasn't very good and it wasn't working, and so did the BBC, so they cancelled the special. Well, surprise, surprise, we hear that in October his memoirs are out, so he was writing something else, lads. I mean, isn't that the problem? 7 pages of an outline for Doctor Who Christmas special, but he has his own bloody memoirs ready.
It shows you where he put his energies. He had some energy to burn. It wasn't on Doctor Who.
Yes,
and
I'm going to
say Doctor Who.
And I'm going to say it one more time. 7-page outline. Look how thick that memoir is. Look at it.
Bloody hell.
More than 7 pages.
Look, it shows everyone has their time, and he's had it, and his season came and went.
Well, no, Dan, you've got it wrong. The circuit breaker's out. You could.
I can't wait.
Yeah, if you. If you count that for Doctor Who, you know.
Man, this is just this is bad for all of our reputation.
The host of the Doctor Who show was excited about it. I know that.
Yeah.
This is it. We've got the people who made this era all very, happy with life, getting their memoirs out and all the rest of it. Meanwhile, we've been left with this of a year or two back. I'm not even going to give it a name. Then we've got this year, and of course our Shooty, his knees have recovered, and he was at Royal Ascot last week. So there you go. It's all good stuff. The only thing left is there any such thing as Doctor Who that will return? The invitation to tender hasn't gone out yet, as far as I'm hearing. So we've got time, therefore, as I said in the intro, where Paul Mars, he gave us his template, his rule book, and so I'll show you basically what he set up. He said, "These are my rules, lads, distilled from all these years watching, reading, thinking, and occasionally writing. You can have them for free, whoever takes over." And he just wanted to set it out. Doctor Who on TV needs to put all these rules as a guideline, and when necessary, break them, but not forget them. And to be fair, Big Finish could do with remembering them too. Is that a fair comment, Dwayne?
Yes, absolutely. They are renowned for filling in gaps and adding to lore that sort of left dangling a little bit. And in the past, they've done a fantastic job. But yeah, let's not go too far, and let's not fill in every single gap so that there's nothing left to even ponder about.
So there you go. He's set the template up, and he comes up with loads of rules. And here's a nice simple one for you. In the new Doctor Who series, everything should be new. And he does break that rule, as he says. Now and again, you can then revisit things, but you really should be moving forward. And I say here to that. I don't think you should be setting up a template, lads, for he's a cyber story, he's a Dalek story, he's a Davros story. I really do think you need to stand on your own 2 feet as a new Doctor Who series and go forward. How's about that, Boomer Doug?
I agree. Let's have a completely fresh start and stop looking backwards. I totally agree with that.
Yeah. What about you, Dan?
Yeah, no, I agree. 7 years of Tom Baker, there wasn't, in that entire run, there was, I think, two Sontaran episodes and 2 Dalek episodes, and that's about it. So, I mean, that entire run was effectively fresh.
Yeah, pick your era, Christian, when you were watching Doctor Who, when something new came up that hadn't been in, the Doctor Who Big Five monsters and all the rest of it. Something new. And pick your period. I mean, the Mondasian Cybermen, we now see as old news, but they weren't, were they, before we hit the William Hartnell blooming 10th planet. So take your pick.
You want to have something fresh for the audiences, but it also prevents the show from becoming old. You can only revisit an antagonist X number of times before you really don't have different ways to kind of explore the dynamic, at least effectively. Now, maybe if they did Doctor Who with 24, 26 full episodes or stories in a season, you could get away with some of that. But if you're only talking 8 to 10 episodes, you don't have time to keep looking back. And there's ample opportunity and reason to look forward at fresh stories.
Okay, and Thread, you can see I am watching as much as I can. So no more Dalek stories for a long time, says Farsight. I was watching tonight, it was on BBC Three, and of course we were seeing the Capaldi one, The Witch is Familiar, where when you've got all the different Daleks from different time periods, and well made, brilliant production values, but you faffed with the Davros character. He opened his eyes, saw the sunlight and all that crap. And there was something about it that was just too faff. Remember the tank? Remember the electric guitar?
In the eyes wasn't what bothered me about that one. It was the literally Capaldi ripping him out of the chair and leaving him on the floor as a torso. That just annoyed the crap out of me. I was just like, what?
So you can see from our thumbnail, Paul Mars, his master plan, he's got loads of rules, loads of regulations, and loads of guidelines. So we're going to get a nice taster from everybody, what lands and what doesn't. The Doctor's a burned out hippie. We'll have a good fun with that one, I tell you, when we go at it. So let's remind ourselves, we need to kind of get ourselves in the picture of what Doctor Who maybe should be. Let's take a look.
Where on earth did you spring from? No, it doesn't matter. I'm
So you were right.
sorry. No.
When the imprint data is complete, they will give us the solution.
Well, we're barely holding the glacier in check. But if we fail, the balance of power will be ruined, and the whole world program will. I think you have the capabilities to join us here.
Well, I'm willing to try.
Information. You've worked with computers, I presume.
Only when I have to.
Here we are completely computerized.
Well, never mind.
Of course, all decisions, all actions must conform to the common good.
Great heavens.
Yes, I thought you'd be impressed, Clint.
Right. Boy, look at the helmet.
Frozen for centuries in the ice. When this man was frozen to death, only primitive cavemen existed.
Well, whatever the implications, it must still take second place to our ionizer project.
See, this fellow Arden has set the electricity so that the ice melts very slowly, allowing for the resistance.
Clint?
Well, I expect there's some impurities in the ice. It's an electronic connection. I'm sure of it. Now, you wait here and don't touch him. Victoria?
What?
You see how those lassies were dressed?
Yes, I did. And trust you to think of something like that.
You don't see yourself dressed like that, then?
Jamie, we will now change the subject, please.
Well, lads, does that fit the template for what Doctor Who should look like in the future?
So good. I love that, man. So good.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if that was today, though. The Doctor would be busy ignoring the ice block and trying to get it on with Angus Lenny.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's interesting when you do look at the old ones. So you've got Jamie flirting around and being cheeky with Victoria. She's from a different period, just like he is, but he's still Jack the lad. Yeah, let the humans be human. And that's when I think the Doctor is above that and doesn't get into pronoun debates and all the rest of it. And that the 60s had it right. The Doctor was different. Look how scoffing he was about computers. I love
that. Never mind. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, it's fab. So, yes, let's look at the Doctor first, shall we, on what Paul Mars says. So here's the big one, everybody. Have fun with this. Paul Mars says, I'd like the Doctor to be a burned-out hippie in his 50s, Gandalf in denims. Now, obviously, he means 50s in how he looks on the outside. We all know that. Gandalf in I think this is all metaphor. Just looks like Gandalf in denims, not a wizard, nothing magical. Burned-out hippie. I mean, hippie breaks convention, don't they? breaks conventional values. I'm all for the Doctor doing that. I mean, where do you stand on this one, Christian? If you were given that as a pitch for the new Doctor?
I don't have a problem with it. I like the idea of creating a very specific profile. And usually what works is a profile of someone that kind of doesn't fit in. You know, we've played with all the previous incarnations and seen variants of it. Yeah, Boomer Doug did a good.
He's the new Doctor.
There you go. The new Doctor. There it is. There's our burned out hippie. Yeah, but Doug did a good job with his noir profile, and the key is to create a profile of someone that's out of time. The nice thing about the noir Doctor was you're talking circa the 1940s. That's a persona or style that's out of time. If you create the image of a burned out hippie, someone with the gray hair and beard, perhaps in denim, that evokes a different time period. Again, someone out of time and out of sync with everyone else. You want that element of alienness with the Doctor, and this profile works for me.
Mind you, Dan, as Dalek Shalom says, a double denim at least, but treble might be overkill. A bit like the shooty Doctor with that dodgy outfit at the end. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, look, he definitely needs to be an outsider. And I just get worried about when you see profiles like this from writers, and I look at the writer and say, is this a self-insert of the writer themselves?
Yes. And
that's what I don't want to see. My preference, I mean, if you're going to capture a mainstream audience, I think you've got to, I think as fabulous as Capaldi is, as much as I love his era, I know people that tuned out because of the age of the Doctor. I think it's kind of needed that we need a younger Doctor. Yeah.
I find it interesting, Dwayne, because I'm about to get a new panelist on. Yeah, you've all been replaced. No, he's a mad advocate on New Who, right? And knows his stuff on New Who, and of course is younger. And his favorite Doctor was Peter Capaldi, so that kind of goes against and actually fits in with what Paul Mars is saying.
But it goes to what it's one thing for our preferences, but we're not the mainstream audience, and that's. I mean, I would imagine that Capaldi's the closest thing to a classic Doctor in the New Who run. So I'm not surprised that us and our audience would put him up there. But in terms of the Doctor that grouped, America and Britain, you'd have to say Matt Smith was probably the most successful.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, Dwayne, you can see what I was saying, and Dan's just defending his position, but did it work? The Capaldi burned out hippie. I mean, let's face it, because in a way he did do that. The one I was watching tonight, The Witch is Familiar, he was basically being a bit hippie. He was there, with his tank, dismissing that. He had these sonic specs on and all that stuff. Electric guitar, thought he was cool and down with the kids. What do you think?
I think Capaldi worked as the Doctor. He did for me. The one I compare him with in classic series terms would be John Pertwee, because they were similar ages when they took on the role as well. But there is quite a difference between the two. John Pertwee the third Doctor was a character who was much more confident in himself. So Capaldi's Doctor was always questioning himself. Am I a good man? And then he'd change his outfit and go to the hoodie, which I didn't prefer. I much preferred his sort of Pertwee-esque outfit that he had in Series 8 than he had in later seasons with the hoodie.
Yeah.
So whereas the third Doctor got more and more flamboyant as time went on, which was also a product of its time, I suppose, because we were talking before we started, Doug, about Department S, and he was very much a Jason King type character who was frilly and velvety and out there.
His hair got bigger.
It kind of, that's right. So maybe not so much a a hippie, but certainly a product of his time in the 70s there, but very confident, which I think, yes, burned out hippie, but have that confidence as well.
I don't want, as you said, the doctor saying, "Am I a good man?" Nowadays, the doctor would be saying, "Am I a man?" I mean, it goes a bit further. GWC reviews, good to see you. The doctor should be an older man cutting out this romantic nonsense. Or I agree. I just think the doctor should be a different generation or appear to be from a different.
No,
culture.
no, it doesn't have to be an older man, because the Fifth Doctor never had any romance in the TARDIS. That was one of the rules.
But I would contest, Dwayne, just this one element. For some reason, for a lot of writers, maybe for a lot of broadcasters, the idea is if you bring in an actor who's 25 or 30, there's this innate push to somehow create a romance for them because of their age. Whereas if the actor performing the role is in their 50s or older, that there's less of that impetus. They don't see that character through that lens. So maybe it's almost a protection of the character not to play them too young.
Well, here we've got thank you, Farsight, for starting it all off. I like the idea for the Doctor. It's very like the future Dr. Merlin that appears in the Battlefield novelization and the Andrew Cartmel master plan. Just no denim, as he says. Thanks for that. And of course, we'll say thank you. Yeah, that pun needs doing. I'm totally up.
You damn
I need to get out there. Wobbs, the classic Doctor always had a silhouette of an out-of-time Edwardian. It should go back to those basics instead of the contemporary generic look. The Doctor has seemingly looked like a try-hard. He's trying to be the cool uncle when actually he never should have been anywhere near that. Julie Coonan, hello. I don't mind a young Doctor, but prefer them to be a bit older. Oh, aye. You're after the sugar daddies, are you, Julie? Aye. Richard, we've had too many young doctors in a modern era. We've had a creche of doctors. Give us someone older and eccentric. We want a care home of doctors. That's what we want, not a creche. After now, Pierce did remind me of the Doctor. I loved his relationship with his co-worker. It was such an odd little series. You see, the young doctors are talking about, my God, the young doctors, the Aussies will love that. Zach Whitten, I think pre-RTD2, Tennant was the most popular New Who Doctor, followed by Matt Smith. Eccleston was popular but didn't stay long enough to be embedded, and Capaldi was good too. Well, wait till you get my New Who panelist on next week, and he's got a different order of favourite doctors, I tell you. Lance Uppercut, looking like he's just been to Woodstock and wearing the clothes of that time, but looks older than the young audience who were there. He has to be different from everybody else on the show. I think that is it.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go with that one. Right, here's a few. We can do a quick, there's quite a few here. The Doctor isn't the story is the story. Now, is that a non-brainer? Or
yes.
Are there any exceptions to that? Any stories where the story, I mean, take the regeneration ones out where obviously the story is the Doctor dies. But are there any other stories, barring those, where the story about the Doctor was very interesting? I'm trying to think. I mean, Deadly Assassin.
I think it needs to be few and far between.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Like this is one of my concerns about, and I'm sure that's not what he means when he talks about burned out. But there's this obsession with deconstructing characters these days in modern writing because they've got nothing better to do than, just subvert things and I don't want a deconstructed burnout Doctor. I want a Doctor that's in fine form and ready for action.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
Well, you want someone who's in fine form and ready to go. We like the idea of confidence, but as we've discussed before, the Doctor who's so firmly in control and familiar with the TARDIS that he's able to really laser-like focus every solution instead of work his way through the narrative to get to the end, which we saw a lot of in the classic era. I think the distinction is we want the Doctor to have a confident persona, but doesn't have to be perfect. And for the stories not to have to deal with his backstory, because if the Doctor is the story, that means you're digging into his history and his motivations, and you're trying to deconstruct the character and somehow fill in gaps that the audience is not asked to have filled in, because part of the magic of the character is that lack of familiarity, that lack of certainty.
Yeah, the mystery, the enigma. W.J.P. Parsons, writer, recent studies suggest younger viewers don't respond well to romance stories and are calling for stories that reflect their solitary lifestyles. So maybe get some more Deadly Assassins going. Maybe get a little bit of that. Maybe we've really played this too much, Joanne, that the Doctor needs a companion.
I don't know. I think the companion is a good formula, and it's got a solid foundation in the history of the show. So I don't think that is necessarily a bad thing. And we were talking about the Doctor and a romantic Doctor. Well, that's why I think that the run with Martha Jones was really good, because she was the one who was feeling romantic, and the Doctor wasn't, although unfortunately he was pining after Rose the whole season, and that's why he was being distracted. But the fact that there was that, yes, she had those feelings, but he didn't. I think that was probably my favorite period because of that during the 10th Doctor run. And I'm not the biggest 10th Doctor fan, I can tell you. So yeah, I think the companions are, I think they're quite a vital ingredient, to be honest.
Although, to be honest, I think they've dragged them down. It's dragged the story down lately. You think, isn't it funny? We can have a Doctor Light story, but not a companion light story. I mean, hello, it's called Doctor Who, but we always seem to have a companion heavy show and then the Doctor Light show. It seems to be getting a bit garbled to me. Zach Whitten, I can see your message. Will you just Gmail me one more time? Email me one more time. You can come on. I've got no issue about that. And just before I come up to Doug again, the Doctor needs to be lost in his own world, not a throwback to any particular era or culture. He's aloof and preoccupied more than anachronistic. What do you reckon, Boomer Doug, who's seen it from Hartnell onwards?
Oh, okay. Thank you for reminding me. I agree with Dwayne that the companions are important, but I'd like to see a few solo Doctor episodes and have him become involved in whatever the adventure is. I'd also like to see, as you know, him to become a little bit more random, like lose control of the TARDIS and have the TARDIS guide him to wherever he needs to be, and just have him as this kind of guy that gets involved within whatever the adventure is, but get away from this godlike thing and the Christ-like figure that he became with RTD. I'm just so over that.
Yeah,
I really am.
Interesting from this John Pam Law, if I get it right. I have to violently disagree with the Doctor having to be so undefined. What other major character of a major franchise is supposed to be undefined forever? What I would push back, I mean, I'd like to give respect to what you're saying, John, but I'll quickly say to you, Doctor Who is a unique formula, therefore it makes its own rules. And I will throw that out, but I'll have a good think about what you said at the same time. What else has Paul said? Well, no more unit. The Doctor's on his own with his best friend for help. End of. I have to say, I do think this new Who era, it's like he pretends he's on his own, and then he's always got a tank available. He's got a helicopter available. He's got a jeep available. It's become such lazy.
Very lazy.
Well, part of the problem is we're always in contemporary London, basically. And that means you've got this particular technology and group available for his support. Time and space are very big things, and there are plenty of places to go. That unit does not exist. As soon as you take it out of London in the 1980s, 90s, the current era, guess what? No unit. You don't have to make it part of the story. Easy solution.
It was of its time. It worked for when it was meant to work, but that's the end of that. I'm going to be controversial, lads.
Well, if look at it this way. If they could have created the true inheritor of Lethbridge Stewart's role and used that particular organization properly, it wouldn't have worn out its welcome. But unfortunately, it hasn't functioned like it should. Certainly not over the last 10 years. And so it's worn out its welcome. It's time to move on.
I think the unit and the Daleks, there's a way, and I think the Hinchcliffe era did this well, of the show feels like they're there and present somewhere in the universe, sort of hanging around, and we're going to go back and visit, but you're not living in their pockets. So, and the threat of the Daleks is always out there, but they're not in all the stories. They're actually in very few stories.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got CW85. Don't get rid of a unit altogether. Just give them a break in between series. It's almost like you could do a Torchwood with unit, and we did the spin-off with them. I just think they're not the main event. It's Doctor Who.
Could we get rid of Kate at least?
Yeah, she's had two. Well, she's slept her way through half of the management.
It's never been the Brigadier. Let's just face it. It's just not the same.
Now here's a few quickies. If John Yulden was on, he wants the Time Lords reference back to bring the Doctor in line. I get that, but the Doctor never mentions the Time Lords, says Paul Mars. I assume he means
agree.
For the next series or two. I'm assuming he means.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's just because. Go on, Dan. Oh, go on. Sorry, I thought he was speaking.
Someone else was. I think it was Christian.
I think it was Christian.
I was just saying, I still like the idea of the Time Lords existing as an extant threat, but you can't use them consistently. You can't bring them back all the time. They need to be there kind of in the ether. We know that it's a potential consequence he's going to have to deal with down the road, but you don't have to refer to them. Were they referring to the Time Lords that constantly during the classic era? No, they did, but there was a good story.
Yeah, I mean, look at the 60s. It was only when we got to the war games, really. I mean, Dwayne, there's something in 60s and 70s old TV where you reference a character, but you never see them. And in a way, the Time Lords should have been a bit more like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, perhaps. Even I'm just doing currently a rewatch of season 8. So there's quite a few Time Lords in there. Well, there's the Masters in every episode, of course, but then you only get that Time Lord in Terror of the Autons, which I always found totally mysterious and fascinating.
Yeah.
And then you get that little sort of 1-minute scene of Time Lords at the start of Colony in Space. So you've got this overall arc where, someone was just saying they're always there, but they're not there either. So that made it you're always wanting more. Yeah, I think that's the key. Always leave the audience wanting more.
Exactly.
Rather than saturate them with too much. Yeah.
And it looks like Farsight's agreeing with you. Bring the Time Lords back, but in the background. So they're referenced but not used. Maybe used like this. This was Boomer Doug, you see.
Grandfather.
There you go, Boomer Doug. Boomer Doug, check out his channels, Spy Guy.
That hat suits you, Brendan. I'm sorry, but you're a hat man.
Well, you know, you've kind of made me in another way. I'm running as fast as an 80-odd-year-old woman. You make me look so good. Thanks for that, Boomer Doug. There's more of that where that came from. But so here we go. The Doctor never looks back. Now, I don't know what... Yeah, I don't think it means he's always looking at the cracks on the pavement in front. But I am a bit sick of all this kind of dwelling and reflecting. I mean, they did that in The Giggle. I think RTD got that completely wrong. That whole setup where the David Tennant doctor seemed to be alarmed that people had died and people had this.
Yeah.
And we had a bit of that with Warriors of the Deep, didn't we? When the doctor at the end says, I just think less of that, please. He's seen so much death and destruction. He's seen the Time War. I mean, some piddling deaths here and there. I think he'd be over it, don't you?
Yes.
Well, it makes sense. I tried to picture living back on the farm, being in Texas, being out with animals. If you're around animals all the time, and some animals are food, you're going to deal with the process of life and death on a regular basis. And a part of you becomes disconnected from it. And I would theorize if you're virtually an immortal being and you're watching human lives, any lives, go through that process, maybe at a certain point you disconnect from the intensity of the emotion because it's part of the process.
So there's that one. I mean, duck and dive in these lads. He's got so many rules, as he should do, because a lot of us Doctor Who fans have said, well, some argue that you should almost have a proper book, a rule book. I personally think that's a bit too tight and restrictive. I do think we've gone a little bit too kind of free and easy. You can change Doctor Who as completely as you want to as showrunner. I'm not into that. Somewhere in the middle, some guidelines. So here he says, there's never any mention of other doctors when you've got that doctor on TV. This is doctor, as if there's been no other. Yeah, because that's fan service, isn't it, Boomer Doug? That's just
it is.
Please, yeah.
I really like what this guy's saying so far. It's pretty much mirroring what I would like to see. Not so much the burnt out thing. I think the Doctor's sense of wonder and enthusiasm is a part of his character that I love. But everything else I'm definitely on board for.
Yeah. Look, we've all loved the multi-doctor story. Some out there will love the 3 doctors. Some will say 5 doctors. Some will say Dave the Doctor. However, as Doctor Who's gone into longevity, we're getting more multi-doctor stories. The 2 doctors, the War Doctor says hiya, then they do the Conga in another episode. It's like, no. Can we just have the Doctor? We don't have to say the definite article is always the first Doctor. It should be the definite article for every bloody episode, shouldn't it, Dan?
The cost of having other doctors turn up out of nowhere just lowers the stakes and undermines the tone of what's going on. I mean, that was ridiculous having Jodie turn up at the end of Shooty. I mean, 2 years he's barely there, and she just turns up for no reason.
You were beautiful. You were beautiful.
Well, I think there's no stakes. There's no function in it, and it's not special. I would make one caveat, which is during the course of a doctor's tenure, you have the right for one encore, and it has to be a credible story. It can't be a walk-on like Jodie's was. It has to be relevant to the narrative, and then that's it. That performer, that incarnation of the Doctor can never return again. So it's understood, this was the big one for that one actor. So this makes it special. But we can't expect, like Tennant, the character's going to show up again and again and again and 3 Sundays in a month. You don't need that.
Isn't a multi-doctor story, though, turning into it's your second marriage and your ex turns up? or it's your 5th marriage and all 4 exes turn up? I mean, when's it my turn? Bog off. There was a reason we got rid of it.
Yeah.
Could I jump back and just make a brief comment on looking back? As someone who has had the opportunity to take long travel adventures myself, I can tell you from experience that when traveling, we are always in the moment and looking to the next destination as well. We're never, if we are looking back, it's looking back at the wonder, what's going to be the next adventure that we have back at that place. We're not going over the same thing, not doing the same thing twice. And the Doctor is a traveler, so he should always be looking for the next adventure and reveling in the moment. As
Yeah.
far as not mentioning past doctors, well, that's where modern life has confused things a little bit, I suppose, where one of the things I cannot stand is when they refer to all the various regenerations of the Doctor as them. It's not them. It's the same person. So
That's exactly right.
And I think a lot of younger fans or fans who choose to look at Doctor Who that way see other regenerations as separate entities. They're not. It's the same person. So there is no need to mention other Doctors. In fact, in the classic series, when they got back together, look at the three Doctors. The third Doctor was almost looking back in embarrassment at the other two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's true. Yeah, there is no need to mention, but particularly don't mention them as a plural. They're a singular. I even said there. He is a singular character.
Yeah.
Well, Bungle Bear, can I paraphrase you, Bungle Bear? The Time Meddler was a seismic shift, another TARDIS. That's how to change the canon. Leave question marks. Leave question marks. Don't wear them. I'm paraphrasing.
I like that. Agreed,
sir.
Yeah. Tara, I would like the Doctor to go back, pick Jamie up. Oh, Tara, what is going on here? Is this a hormonal? But pick Jamie and Zoe up. The Time Lords left them, restore their memories, then announce we're on the run again. I shouldn't have done this. Well, yes. And what's funny is I'm seeing Bright Jane. I know what you're doing. Bring back Jodie. You normally say bring back the Who Pets. You're hormonal too. What's going on here? So, we've a chat, right. The Doctor is a scientist and an explorer. He is not a superhero. And just using Drain's reference and reference of Australia, Captain Cook from Middlesbrough, happened to bump into this big continent. Explorers were only successful because they were looking forward, not because they were sat on their pension going, "Oh, how good were we? We discovered Whitby." No, they go forward. So yes, Doctor's an explorer. In the early days, the Doctor was so excited, wasn't he? As soon as he stepped out the TARDIS, where the hell are we?
Yeah.
And what we're going to do? And sometimes the companion was saying, "Please, why are we getting out the TARDIS? What we're doing?" And he's straight. Look at him with the Daleks. Yeah. He was a little tinker. He was sabotaging everything because I want to see that city. None of the others were interested. So I'm up for that. And that bottom bit is covering the RTD nonsense of the Space Jesus, isn't it? And
yes.
No, that's gone. That is actually completely misunderstanding what the Doctor is. Completely. And I've been saying to my BBC source who says, "Oh no, you should have a fan who's writing Doctor Who." And I'm going, look, excuse me, a fan writing Doctor Who is where we're in the bloody mess we're in now. I actually think somebody who doesn't understand Doctor Who and has to kind of look at the kind of the shape of it over the years will respect the formula and will respect Doctor Who more than people who think they know it better. So they tinker with regeneration, they tinker with the TARDIS, they tinker with the whole format because they're fans. No, familiarity breeds contempt. I'd like somebody who's an outsider. Like our 60s Doctor Who writers. Were they Doctor Who writers and fans, or were they just good writers? Robert Holmes, Terence Dix, David Whittaker. Could go on. So no, I'm sorry, I'm off my high horse, Christian. There you go.
Amen, sister.
That's right. Well, no, you're. I think you nailed it. Someone who comes in wanting to do fan service, very often they've got a pet interpretation that they want to impose on everyone else. Now, as fans, we all have our takes, our own headcanon, little stories or vignettes that we've created for ourselves. It's not our place to impose that on everyone else because we think we know better. It's a case of understanding what the formula requires dispassionately and adhering to that. But when you get someone like the Fitzroy Tavern Club, you end up with fan fiction, and you don't want to do that.
You've got some.
Can I just come to the defense of Fitzroy Tavern guys? A lot of them have great stuff. There is great stuff, but a lot of it is in the books. It's in the audios. Some of it's on the TV. Some of that got to the television, which we still love to this day. But yeah, when you put it in the hands of, that's the problem with a fan having full control of Doctor Who, is that their interpretation is not, you're not going to have a consensus among fans because everyone's going to have their own ideas, and you're going to be held to higher account because it's like, you're a fan, you should know better than this.
Yeah.
But so it's kind of there's a no-win situation for fans writing Doctor Who, unfortunately. So yeah, it would be nice to sort of separate fans from the show for a while, I think.
Yeah, because this is what happens when fans do write Doctor Who.
I'm never alone with you. This has been an absolute joy. Don't want to do this alone. Poppy, 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 Poppy.
Watch out! Yeah! Let's go!
Yeah, there you go.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. Garbage, you're the man, mate. That's great.
But I should have done this. The detoxers know I should have done this because there's people who are troubled when I show stuff like this. That's what I'm supposed to do, isn't it, detoxers? I'm supposed to warn you.
Memories.
Garbage could have tweaked that and had William Hartnell turn up and kick Poppy out.
Yeah.
Me and Garbage, we can do it. So, listen, I'm going to say this very slowly. Paul Mars, who's written Doctor Who, says the Doctor is asexual.
Thank you.
Hallelujah. There's the answer, everybody.
Amen.
I think everybody agrees with this.
Yeah.
Well, except certain people who've run the bloody show.
Yes.
Sadly.
That's true.
Sadly.
Are you going rogue?
Hey, what I do at my own private time, mate. What I did at Mrs. McCrory's chair in Sydney is for nobody else to know. There we go.
Keep your Sonic to yourself.
So Paul was also saying the Doctor breezes around as if at a garden party, and then he has to admit that he's very worried. Now I showed the ice warriors earlier where he potters around with the computers before anybody says anything, and he sometimes just appears, doesn't he? Or sometimes he's seen. We've just been watching the Robots of Death, where obviously he's seen, and it's like your stowaways, that classic one. Do you kind of like that vibe that he's explaining there, Christian?
Yeah, I can see what he's trying to do. The idea is to create a sense of tension within the character. I mean, that was one of the things that I liked about Troughton. He could pretend not to be dismayed, but all of a sudden, he is seriously concerned about something. You want to have that kind of dynamic. It makes the character actually more interesting to watch.
Agree.
You want confidence, but you want his own reaction to let you know that there are stakes involved in what's happening. You don't have to have him breaking into tears, cowering in a corner, or running off to snog a new love because he's trying to avoid whatever crisis of the week happens to appear. You can actually find better ways of having him reveal there's tension afoot.
I mean, Dan, I would push back on Paul Mars here. When he says Doctor breezes around as if at a garden party, I'm thinking, no, he's not. That's too establishment still for me. Garden party? I haven't been to garden party. If he's at a barbecue, maybe.
Yeah, this one, forgetting the garden party reference, I think I kind of admit that you want the Doctor sticking his bib in and just, turning up in situations. this is not one of the strongest points that I think Paul's made, but I kind of get the sentiment.
Yeah, I suppose he's writing a whole template of rules, and some will come across as very distinct, like he's asexual. But this one gives you a vibe, doesn't it? I mean, Dwayne, I get what he's saying, and I kind of buy into it. That he breezes in. He's nonchalant half the time, but when he sees something goes wrong, he's in it to win it. You know, he's there.
Yeah.
Well, it comes back to that confidence that he portrays, particularly, and I go back to the Third Doctor again, that he portrays that confidence, but then to sort of express his authority to those who are not regulars in the show, but then he has those moments of concern with the companions. I think, I can see where he's coming from there with this point. So there is a confidence, but there is also, that worry as well. Like in the Ice Warriors clip that you showed before, the Doctor was, fascinated by everything that was going on. And then later on, he got really concerned about, the ionizer being used against the Ice Warriors ship. And, but he still had that authority with Clint in the base. So that you can have both things at the same time.
Now, before I get to Doug, I'm just going to do this one more time because Farsight will kick off if I don't do this first. Right, now that's for you, Farsight, because he likes to defend the Sylvester McCoy era, and I'm just going to make a reference to the Sylvester McCoy era. And what I'm going to say is, remember that bloody garden party in Silver Nemesis, where basically they're at a jazz festival and they're chilling out, and I'm thinking, no, I'm not having the Doctor doing the chilled, all that stuff. I want him kind of a stowaway, suspicion, tension. Who the hell are you? What are you doing here? Robots of death. Whoa. I don't want him having a bit of jazz and going, oh, this is all right. Anyway, there's me being controversial again. Farsight, I will get you on because he wants to take my head off, I know.
Yeah, come on.
Do you want to hear my experience with Sylvester in a situation like that?
Yes.
We went out for dinner one night in Hobart when he was out here. And we walked out of the restaurant. It was just him and I, actually. It was really nice. And we walked out of the restaurant, and directly opposite the restaurant, believe it or not, was a whiskey bar. And he looks right at me and he goes, "Do you fancy a wee dram?" Like that. How can you say no to that?
No, you can't.
Very good, very good. You had a good time, and well done you. I mean, obviously, Sirens of Audio, you set all that up, and you had a good time, didn't you? I know you had a good time in Tasmania when he visited you.
Fantastic. Yep.
Now, Kamikaze Guy, I watched Paul's video and saw these as more specific to certain situations. The Doctor may encounter, not as how he should react every time, all the time. Kamikaze Guy, he sets up, he's done about 3 or 4 videos where he sets them out as rules and guidelines. As I said at the very beginning, I quoted him and he said, you use them, then you break them now and again. And he said they're out there free. And he said it was a guideline, a template. So I know I am quoting him, don't you worry. I'm being fair to him. So let's see what else we've got. And don't worry, Doug, you're in first on this one and the last one.
Oh, am I?
Yeah. The Doctor improvises his way out of danger brilliantly and wittily. He never has godlike powers. And of course, the earlier one that you saw. I mean,
yes.
What was it about the Doctor when you started watching it really got you in the end about him?
Well, he kind of thought on his feet. There was not the sonic to get him out of trouble like a magic wand all the time, and he did improvise, and he got out of things cleverly. And the whole godlike thing, I'm so over. Even Moffat did it a bit, didn't he? With the Doctor. I want to see the Doctor mysterious again. Make the title Doctor Who relevant. And I love the idea that he's the cleverest person in the room, and he works out a solution a bit like MacGyver. Make solutions out of what's at hand. Don't pull your sonic out of your pants and wave it at people. Sorry, Brendan, I know you like to do that, but
that's you've given away what I did at Mrs. McCoy.
Taps it on people's shoulders.
But this is it, isn't it? The Doctor was just the cleverest guy there, but he had to be a genius at using certain things that were happened to be in the
Yes.
room. I remember the
Yes.
brain of Morbius that was stuck in the bunker there, and he had to make a chemical that would actually gas Morbius, and that was to buy time. You just want him thinking on his feet. I don't want him to be the most muscular. He's not Superman. He can't fly. He's not Tinkerbell, and he can't do magic. He just is that geeky guy who uses his brain, and that's the reason I got really into it, Christian.
Well, one of the things that this makes me think of is certainly in the New Who era, it got to the point where the Doctor's name was known throughout the entire cosmos, all of space and time, because he was literally just one step below the Creator himself.
Yeah.
And that got very old very quickly.
Sure did.
You can't play the Doctor using his wit to get out of situations when he's actually using a pre-established reputation to intimidate his way out of situations or bluff his way through. It works better, like MacGyver, if he's having to use his brain, his intellect, and whatever tools happen to be available in order to extricate himself from a crisis or resolve a problem.
And that was what was amazing with the William Hartnell Doctor, because he was obviously a frailer man as a doctor. So you needed the Ian Chesterton, but Ian Chesterton wasn't always there to save the Doctor. You needed that kind of, he had to think his way out of things. I mean, Dan, I don't know what got you into Doctor Who, as in the character, but, I did like the fact that he was that anti-hero and he just used his brain and his guile rather than punch,
I definitely always enjoyed the MacGyver-esque nature of the Doctor, way back when, from the very beginning he was like that. One of the things that one of the aspects that I thought I liked that Matthew Jacobs brought in the Paul McGann movie, which I know this would probably be controversial, was I like the idea of the Doctor as a Time Lord. The one sort of gift that he had in McGann's era was that ability to sort of have insights into the future, or having, not total knowledge of the future, but having, I suppose, is it precognition of what might happen or possible future alternatives. I think it's a way that you can have the Doctor be the smartest person in the room, or have insights into the future where you don't have to labor the plot to get something to happen, if that makes sense.
And Dwayne, that second time Capaldi regenerated and he had another speech to give, that speech is my problem one. Remember when he fell to the floor and he said, "Kids know my name." And we were mentioning this about the Space Jesus. What do you mean everybody knows your name? What is this? It's that. Doctor Who and kids. What do kids know? I hated all that. I just, like it said on that slide there, the Doctor improvises. He's got no godlike powers. He's nothing special in many, many ways.
Yeah, and being able to stop the regeneration by sticking his hands in the snow.
So
they could have another story. That was a bit magical as well. So I don't like the magical side of things. Some of that was slipping into definitely the McGann movie, and definitely some of the McCoy stories as well. But there was a bit more mystery in the McCoy sort of stuff that appeared to be magical, but it's still kind of slipping in as well. So definitely no magic. I mean, can you imagine the Doctor getting out of the Dalek ship in the Daleks' invasion of Earth with anything other than a magnet?
Yeah, exactly. And it's a great little scene, that, isn't it? I actually love all that.
That's something that gets cut out of these sorts of things.
Yeah. Like by Benjamin Cook,
who would edit that out and go, "Oh, we need to get through this quicker."
You seem to be referencing a
the
certain
disco
person. Phantom Cat. I don't mind Timon Arani. It's low on my rankings, but McCoy but Mary O'Hara.
Cat, you're a legend.
Yeah, I know.
Don't worry about Brendan. He's got no taste.
I've got no taste. And that's why you lot aren't on next week. No, Stephen O'Neill, the second Doctor has genius intellect and cunning schemes behind a warm, bumbling, and clown-like demeanour. Now, that reference, Stephen, takes me back to the one I put earlier, which I thought was a clever reference. You've said MacGyver, but they were talking about Columbo and the Doctor being like Columbo. Here's Wobbs. And yeah, I understand, because Columbo was always underestimated.
Yes, I love that.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah, so I do like everybody's thinking. It works. That should be added to Paul Mars's kind of guidelines. Now, he also said the Doctor is not your best mate. The Doctor is mysterious and manipulative. I referenced the
Yes,
Daleks.
please. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, okay, there's only so much I can cope with when the Invasion of Time Part 1 happens and you just don't know what's happening, and Leela has to be dismissed from Gallifrey, and I don't know, that really tested the boundaries for me. I just thought, I felt so sorry for Leela because he had to keep her in the dark. But it went on for so long in that episode, I felt uncomfortable, even though there was method to his madness. But he's definitely not your best mate. I know it got close to that with that Sarah ending, Hand of Fear.
Yeah, but he just dumped her.
Yeah.
Without much thought.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But no, I totally agree with all that. I've got no controversy there. And I think that's when who did start to fall flat. He seemed to live in the bedsit for a while. He knew James Corden. He played football. He was babysitting kids. He was almost like the chaperone for Clara and her boyfriend. Do you know what? It just go away. No.
Well, they're trying to humanize him, and they're trying to establish what I would consider familial relationships with partners who are going to be very transient in the lifetime of the Doctor himself. The character doesn't work that way, at least doesn't work that way effectively in the long term. And I think writers currently, certainly the last 20 years, they kind of lost sight of that.
Well, I think Moffat was trying to, when Moffat's doing that sort of thing, I think he's trying to extract the humor out of having another worldly being in an everyday situation.
Yeah.
I don't think he's trying to rewrite the character or do anything, law destroying when he's doing those.
I'm with you there on that one.
I mean, I understand for every, I love Day of the Daleks. So, of course, that moment with the wine and the cheese when Joe and the Doctor are talking is an important scene because they discuss certain things. And later on, they have a similar scene where it's the Blinovich limitation effect is discussed. So these are important scenes. So I suppose the James Corden and the Doctor playing football, I take your point, Dan, that he's not fitting in. He's to miss him look almost more geeky. The thing is, I don't understand is most of the time the Doctor, yes, he sometimes does have wine and cheese suppers with Joe, but most of the time he's bothered about there's so many fights in the planet. Remember his Colin Baker speech to the Time Lords when he said he's fighting on so many fronts. When does he have time for wine and cheese? When does he have time for a game of football? 90 minutes. Could be extra time. I mean, in a way, it still makes that look stupid because while he's playing football, he could be saving a planet from going into a black hole.
He did go fishing for gumballjacks, though.
Yeah, he did. That's allowed. No.
It
was the expenses budget.
You can have your day job of saving the world, but you've got to take time out for your to be psychologically
listen
safe.
to bloody mental health joy. Here we go. Everyone needs a detox. Says a detox.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, they do.
Be a pretty bad psychologist, Brendan, because you bloody keep re-traumatizing them when you're trying to
Let's look back and let's go over the trauma again. Dragon Lord 6666 times 3. Oh my God, we're about 10 minutes behind. Well, but I like the quote from Capaldi's Doctor. I'm his carer. Doctor, yes, she cares, so I don't have to. Yeah, there's some clever stuff with Moffat. There always is, I know. After now, it was fascinating seeing how cunning and alien Hartnell's Doctor was in the early stories. That scene with Barbara in The Edge of Destruction is so important. Yeah. I have to say, I quite fancy maybe doing a focus on one or two of those early stories as a template. I don't mean as a review, as a template, because I sometimes wonder in this pitch invitation to tender era, lads, whether we should look at some of those early ones and go, could we go back to that, and should we? So that's a possibility. Now, should we go back to this era, lads? Is this the type of Doctor Who we should be making?
It's madness.
If all goes well, we'll need to leave in a hurry.
Oh, be careful!
I trust you know what you're doing.
Our duty, if not our conscience, is clear. There was one dissenter, your good friend Councillor Heddin.
I much appreciate all you've done.
I, Lord President Barusa, by reason of cruel but unavoidable necessity, exercise the final sanction of termination. This warrant empowers you to carry out judgment.
Coordinates? No, Nissa, I will not have blood spilt to save my life.
Girl. Don't you understand? The Doctor was betrayed.
They're right, Nissa. We cannot escape. We must obey the Lord President. I know what I'm doing.
For your sake, we will overlook it.
Activate boost.
I mean, look how upset Nissa is when she sees Colin Baker in that hat. I mean, honestly, I can see Zach Whitten. I saw you. You sneaked in there. No more Gallifrey. We had been saying that. I enjoyed the trailers for Arc of Infinity, especially that Omega silhouette. The story didn't quite execute, and I was a bit bored with the Amsterdam nonsense. Let's run around Amsterdam. Let's put some cornflakes on Peter Davison's face and put him in a boiler suit. But yeah,
I'm a bit of a sucker for Arc of Infinity, but can you imagine how cool it would have been if Hedden turned out to be the toy maker? That would have made it fascinating.
Yeah. Lovely Michael Gough. I mean, Hedin, great voice. Stephen O'Neill, Arc of Infinity is a good story. I'm not going to do the toxic alert again, but too much electronic music. Could have done with Dudley Simpson. I think Dudley Simpson, bless him. Oh, I know. They got rid of him too early. Shocking stuff. So the Doctor's not your best mate. He sometimes can turn into the cornflakes guy in Amsterdam. Be very careful. Now. Oh, lads. Right, I'm sorry. I might have to do it. It is important. Paul Mars is saying gender does not matter. The Doctor can be anything.
That's one I would firmly disagree with. It doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
We know what has worked because it worked throughout the classic Who era. There's a very distinct profile for all practical intents and purposes. On the outside, you've got someone who is human. You aren't going to have a dog being, not even canine, being the Doctor. And you're not going to flip genders. I don't think that works. For me, in terms of just physiology, science, it doesn't work. It breaks the suspension of disbelief. So stick with what has already established. The Doctor can't just be anything. The Doctor can be the Doctor.
And it's not saying anything particular. Stephen Braddock, that's why I put the toxic alert up. But I'm wondering, Dan, is this Paul Mars he wants to write again? He wants to write for Doctor Who. He has to say this now. I'm worried, Dan, about the invitation to tender. I bet you they say something like this.
Look, I'm torn because I think while there were aspects of the female Doctor that didn't work, I think it doesn't mean it can't work. I think you've got to, the only way it's going to work is if you're doing it for the right reasons, and you've got a fantastic actor who, can play the Doctor and not some sort of, rip-off of another version of the Doctor. So, look, I don't think the Doctor can be anything. That's not true. But I think if you're doing an asexual doctor, then gender matters less. But I think comes back to the problem if you cast a female, everyone's obsessed with identity at the moment, and it's gonna impact the show negatively.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I would have at one time agreed with this, probably before Jodie came along. In fact, I was interested to see how they would deal with a female doctor, and I always said back in the day that as long as the story justified the change and the character was good, then I would be okay with it, and the stories, of course. But none of that happened. There was no reason for it to happen. It just happened. The characterization was not even feminine, really. It was just
feminine. Yeah, that was
aggressively androgynous. And you know, I would have been more interested in a more feminine characterization myself. And the stories were rubbish. So yeah, I'm more inclined to say no now. But I don't know if the doctor can be just anything. I don't know if I agree with that statement.
I also think there's a problem with what we've done, because when they did make the doctor a female and when they did make the master female, they were cutting lines all the time. Even that gender fluid Time Lord who went from the general to a woman, I was showing it only last week, and she made a line as soon as she became a female. She said, "How do you cope with your ego?" They can't just get on with it. If they were just going to make the Time Lords gender fluid, get on with it.
Yep.
But why do they always wake up going, "Oh,
my ex-wives had no ego at all"?
Yeah. And that's what I mean. They always have to have a dig at men, but it's never the other way around. So actually they bring identity politics in it and they sink the show. If you really are a species that can change sex, why do you suddenly go, "Oh God, all that male ego, thank God I've got rid of it"? Get over yourself. It's part of you, you absolute prat.
It comes back to the temptation of why you're doing it. That if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, it's going to come out in the show, and that's exactly what's happened all the way along. If they played it like Classic, who just changed it, got on with it, and actually you had a feminine doctor, and you weren't retconning, the entire origin of the show and spilling your gut. I mean, the Timeless Child. There were so many aspects that made that damage even worse.
Yeah. And before, just as I come to Doug, but Martin Chudley here, with a more committed performance and stronger writing, it would be awesome. Saran Jones would have been great during that Matt era. And remember, my TV producer source has he's kind of put on the sweepstakes money on it. He said, "We'll look out for Saran Jones's name. I bet you some TV companies will be trying to get her to be the next female doctor." I mean, it's not something I'm looking for. She's a damn good actress, but like I've said, I don't really like messing up with it. Where do you stand on this, Boomer Doug, on this gender thing?
I'm a little bit torn. I agree with the guys. If they make it good, if they make it viable, I'm open to it. Obviously, I go back to 1963, and for me, my favourite doctors were men. I'm more of the opinion that if they're looking for strong female characters, introduce an original female character to complement the Doctor and stick with the template that was the most successful. But I am open. I'm happy for someone to prove me wrong. I really am. But at this moment, if they announce the next Doctor as a woman, I might go, "Oh, it better be good." And that's just how I feel.
I think if they decide to cast a woman, short of lightning striking, miracles coming down from on high, I think it's dead in the water. I don't think the audience is going to be receptive. And maybe not because it couldn't work, but because of what we've seen, exactly as Dan pointed out, they do it for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
It's a symptom of the damage that's been done.
Yeah.
It's
plain
because it's a red flag that they're not doing it for the right reasons, and it's all the trauma.
That's why I said That's why I said having a fan as the Doctor Who showrunner is actually more dangerous, because only a Doctor Who fan would say, "Oh, with regeneration, you can do this, you can do that." Actually, somebody who doesn't understand the concept would go, "So what? The Doctor every so often, because we change actor, does this, right? Okay," and they'd play it straight. But it's only a fan who would faff with this gender nonsense. Phantom Cat, watch poetry serials and tell me the Doctor isn't masculine. Interesting point. But Paul Richards then trumps that, maybe, and says Sidney Newman suggested a female, but he probably had in mind an old battle axe, which I would go for much more. A battle axe in the TARDIS. Way, yay. Real geriatric here. The Doctor is a white male character, and that's that. Until the people who make the show realise that, the show is doomed. Dan, you kind of said that. The show can have female Time Lords, just not the Doc. There's a bigger universe out there. Let's just leave it at that. Yeah, there we go. So that one is controversial. The Doctor must be older, says Paul Mars. The Doctor has to have seniority. I know we had the Matt Smith one where it kind of could have. I mean, Matt Smith's Doctor could have been even more interesting if the companions were a lot older. I suppose you could say the Jodie Whittaker Doctor had Graham, who was a bit older. But I think you still need that generational dynamic. You don't want them. The thing I had a problem with, in a way, with a Matt Smith Doctor, and I do think he's an outstandingly genius kind of character actor, but the way he was the same age as the Ponds, I just thought it was too. It was too cozy in that way. When yes, he was acting himself to death to make himself look different, but I just think show an obvious age difference as well. That's what I would say. So I buy into that one. Anyone got any positions on that?
I personally think it comes down to how good the actor is, not so much the age.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I look at it through this lens. Very often when someone is casting an actor, you can't escape the fact that their physical appearance, their age, is going to have an impact on how the audience receives the character. Would someone have cast Peter Lorre as James Bond? Probably not, and for some very specific reasons. If you've got someone who's too young, you've got a problem. Matt Smith was brilliant in that he tried to play the role older, which was distinct. But I think the dynamic, and it's easier for the writers if you do have an age differential between the Doctor and the companions. And it works better if his visual profile looks older than the companions who are with him. That gives him, just at a surface level, a visceral authority that might not otherwise be obvious.
Yeah, I agree. I think the sweet spot's probably between about 40 and 50. I mean, I have to be honest, when Matt Smith was announced, I thought, oh, what are they doing? But he proved me so wrong because he was so brilliant. But I think he's the exception rather than the rule. I think maybe... I agree with everything Christian said. It needs some sort of visual 45. Shorthand. Yeah.
Now, Joanne?
I don't know. I can imagine Mickey Rooney playing James Bond.
So could he probably.
I agree, and I disagree with that statement. I think the Doctor doesn't necessarily have to be older, but has to have a maturity so that he has to have seniority. Always has to have seniority. Cannot be down on the same level. So been banging on about that for a while, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
And on that score, isn't it interesting? We've got Judge Joseph Dredd saying an 80-year-old actor should be the next Doctor. We need a Hartnell-type Doctor.
Hartnell wasn't 80.
I know he was. We'll have a Stannis there.
I can do it with his colostomy bag.
A Stannis there lift into the cloister room. Well, you know, he could. The Doctor goes to Benidorm in his motor scooter. That would be brilliant. So yes, that was his discussions about the Doctor. So let's take a look at. He was also talking about the actual structure for the show. So here's a few quickies for you lads. One writer's voice should not be allowed to dominate. I wonder who he's talking about. What's he getting at?
Yeah, I wonder.
I mean, if you look at classic Who, a season, you know, you had one story by, you know, Terrence Dicks, one story by Robert Holmes, one story by so and so. It was a mixed diet, wasn't it? A mixed bag. Yeah. And that's why sometimes the consistency was a bit different. But instead of one person saying, I'm squatting all over Doctor Who with my big fat ass, and I will make sure, you know, everything goes through the colossus of my 2 fat legs. No. You know, and I said that, it sounds a bit graphic, but that's, if we say the showrunner is seen in certain characters, the toy maker, Sutek, squatting on the TARDIS, throwing time turds through the vortex, that's what he did. Yeah. But yes, so yes, I have no problem with that one, because that's obviously a dig at RTD, really, I would have thought, lads. And
that seems to be a problem with all the current era, the way they tend to operate. One showrunner dictates everything. Classic era, what did we have? You had a producer, but you had a crew of writers, each contributing some quality narratives.
Yeah.
I think that helped the series stay fresh and bring in a lot of original ideas. When you have just one mind operating the entire time, how can you stay fresh that way?
I think it comes back to something. I think this is attacking a symptom rather than the core problem. It's not the issue with having a single writer, because you've always had script editors like Robert Holmes and Eric Saywood and others, like literally refining and getting consistency in an era.
Yeah, definitely.
And even RTD1 worked with many writers and him sort of with oversight. The issue came was, if you're going to pick someone who's at the end of their career, isn't hungry, isn't going to put the hours and the energy in, isn't, desperate for success. When you look at Doctor Who, it's been having a young producer. Its best eras are when you've got a young producer that's hungry, that has got something to prove, and they're there for 3 years and then they're out. And they've given, and even, Robert Holmes gave everything he got to the program in 3 years. Same with Hinchcliffe. And they were there for the right reasons. They were just there to make a good show.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was interviewing Gary Russell a few years ago, before RTD was even announced. And I said, is there anything in Doctor Who that you would like to do? And he said to me, I want Chris Chibnall's job. And I said to him, well, if you did, what would you do? He said, well, I would run the show. I wouldn't write the show. He said, I would organise to bring people in to write, and I would oversee it, of course, but I would leave the writing to everyone else. And I think at the time his belief was that the showrunner was to run the show, not write the show.
Yes.
So unfortunately, we have that role a bit convoluted these days. And with the reduced episode count too, I think that probably doesn't help, doesn't give you as much leeway to sort of divvy it out to other writers either.
Because instead of having Dr. Light episodes, we should have had RTD Light episodes. Maybe.
Yes, we should.
Oh, that would have helped.
Also, it helps if you got more episodes, because you can move on from a Fear Her or something pretty quickly if you've got another bagging coming along.
Yeah. Now, has anyone got a problem with this one that Paul says? There must be at least 3 cliffhangers and stories must be told in serial form. I'm assuming he means a 4-parter there. I mean,
I think it's great.
I mean, God, it would seem such a strange formula now, wouldn't it? Oh my God. But
I think it's, you know what, when they did Indiana Jones back in the early 80s, and they were hearkening back to a style that was 40 years preceding it, and the audience gravitated to it. There was something about the formula that worked. I think the same thing can be said about the cliffhanger formula now. You're looking back 40 years. Cliffhangers work. They maintain tension, stakes. They keep people involved. If you stagger the installments, maybe 1 episode a week, 30 minutes, you're able to maintain it. For people at the end of a cycle that want to binge, they can do it that way. But for a lot of people that want to enjoy the suspense of the binge or the cliffhanger, they focus on the cliffhanger and they follow it along. And I think that's an ideal delivery mechanism.
Steve Enge says BBC would never go back for that, but yes, bring back serials. My question is, why? Game of Thrones, it's serialized, really, and there's a
good point. Good point. Yeah. Most of the populace. Sorry, no, you go.
No, Line of Duty does it. Actually, that's the
Yeah.
trend now. And yes, you might be binge watching, but you still have a cliffhanger. And if you want to watch part 2 straight away afterwards, that's your choice. Or you can wait till it's scheduled on TV. But actually,
that's exactly what I was going to say. All the successful streaming shows are not always cliffhangers, but they're one continuous story, and they can be either binged, as many people do, or you can enjoy them on a weekly basis. I think you've nailed it, Brendan.
And just before, and you know, people are joking in the thread because it felt like so long. But what are cliffhangers? This is a cliffhanger. I used to have a cliffhanger show. I'll bring it back when it's needed.
Please do.
Yeah.
Please do. Yeah.
Cliffhangers are very important. Here we go.
I noticed a sort of vibration, a sort of sonic shadow. What is it?
There's a guard. I shall kill him.
No. Listen, Leela, you simply must stop attacking people.
Do not worry, Doctor. I shall protect you.
He actually believes that he can see into the past with that electronic fruit machine he's got down. I mean, the whole thing's a load of old rubbish. He thinks...
Did he give any reasons for not demonstrating it?
Apparently it only works after dark.
Oh, Feldman's no fool when it comes to electronics.
You mean until it flipped his lid?
That way.
Oh, come on.
I know whatever you do, stay close to me. You understand? Leela. She's done it again.
It's good to see we're keeping abreast of the cliffhangers.
What's painful is every time Brendan does this, I get thoroughly engaged and say, okay, I'm just ready to pause and watch the rest of this story.
Same.
That's what I went and watched Carnival of Monsters after last episode. We did.
But there's something about it. It was the rhythm of Classic Who, wasn't it? You actually... Yeah. I remember the adrenaline. I remember me starting to look at the clock. I remember me thinking... Oh, we've got 10 minutes left of Doctor Who. Right, okay, we're going to start moving towards the cliffhanger. You wanted to see the jeopardy. This was the whole point of it. You know, I was... Isn't it funny? It was a 25-minute episode, and actually halfway through, you were starting to get geared up for the finish. It was really fun. And it was that peak and trough. It was like a roller coaster of storyline. And that's how Doctor Who was written. Yes, there were some duff ones. We all know Death to the Daleks Part 3, when suddenly the Daleks are more intrigued. Sorry, Bilal and the Doctor were more bothered about interior design of the Excelons. That didn't work, did it? Crimpling the Bloom.
But, you know.
Yeah. 25-minute serialized adventure, says Crimpling, would help stretch out the run of the show across... Yes. Why don't people think this out? Think budget.
I don't know.
I've said this a few times. I've said this a few times, but in the past, but one of my favorite shows with cliffhangers in the last five years or so would be Cobra Kai. And even though they drop all their episodes out in one go, the cliffhangers are so good that you just want to keep going. And I've sat there and watched a whole season in one day. Because cliffhangers are so good, and we just have to know what happens next. Yeah. And if that was stretched out, like I don't agree with the dumping everything. I think Doctor Who would be much better served by staggering the release of episodes rather than just dumping them.
Oh,
but,
definitely.
And the other thing too is it's not restricted. People say 25 minutes, but it doesn't need to be restricted to 25 minutes, particularly if it's a streaming situation. Of course, you know, the BBC is going to want to put it out on free to air, so they're going to have to limit the timings to some degree. But if it was purely streaming, then the time could be variable for episodes as well.
Now, just before I miss it, because the thread is lively tonight, very busy. Sonny Waffles, I sent you an invite. Get that reply coming in, Sonny, and we'll get you on.
I miss you, Sonny. We miss you. Yeah. Hello.
He was a fixture of our Who Nights and My Children of Time, and I wrote to him a few days ago to try and get him on. Actually, I really did. Lipskin here. I mean, it's Stefan, isn't it? Brendan, could Doctor Who introduce hydration breaks like the World Cup? I mean, well, Cliffhangers first. We'll have it. We'll have it. Bring back Verity Lambert. Well, we were talking about being young producer who's hungry, who's ambitious, who takes no crap. I mean, I love that. I don't even know if it's true. Was it true that Verity Lambert went to see the designer and sat there and said, "Design the bloody TARDIS. Get on with it. I want it done now." I mean, I'd love that little bit when he just played around with it and suddenly you get this amazing effect. I'd love that to be true. I really would. But yeah, she had to be, because Doctor Who at that point, nobody knew quite what department it fitted in, what genre is it, who the hell are you? You're a woman. And so it was up against it, wasn't it? And I just loved the cheek of that woman. She really went for it. Anyway, what else does he say? Now, Paul Mars says, Doctor Who is always political. Now, political mean lots of things. Political is people. It's people dynamics. We need stories that tackle issues, though, he says, such as the rise of fascism, the effects of climate change and pollution, billionaire tech companies. Well, the truth is, Doctor Who's already done that. The issue is, lads, the way people talk about it now, it's as if it's very heavily political rather than it's there if you want to see it.
Well, what you need to do is tell the stories through allegory. You're not going to name a specific politician from a specific country addressing a specific problem that's current in 2024. Don't do that. It's got to be allegorical, and ideally, if the story is well written, you're going to see some logic from both sides of the aisle. You may agree with one or the other, and it's maybe clear that one was a better answer than the other, but you have to be able to understand both. You can't tell the stories with a sledgehammer, which is what they've been doing for the last decade at least.
Literally.
I mean, lads, Dan, there are stories still to be done out there about AI, about various things. I mean, it is true. We can do stuff about global billionaires and stuff.
A great classic with Green Death kind of tackles all of those things, but guess what? It does it really cleverly through lots of different character perspectives in the one serial.
I mean, sorry, I thought you finished.
No, that's all right. I'll get off my soapbox. I'll let you go, mate. It's your show.
No, sorry. I'm just moving on to Dwayne. Then, sorry, I'll do something. Sorry. No, Dwayne, when you look at, say, the Green Death, clearly it's about the pollution and all the rest of it, but it was also about a kind of a global giant as well, and computers. Did it lay it on with a trowel, or was it acceptable?
It was acceptable. It was most definitely pushing a point. Because of the current day setting of UNIT, they could do certain things that were happening at the current day, but it wasn't overt. Stevens was ultimately a sympathetic character right at the end, having been taken over by the boss. So we got to see that different perspective. He wasn't just an evil guy that deserved everything he got.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. It was definitely taking sides, but I don't think it was soapboxing as activism as entertainment does now. Where they take a side, and if you don't agree with this, then you're evil. It was just telling a story and including that in an allegorical way. So yeah,
and it showed the miners trying to save their jobs, and it showed the impact of what was going to happen on all sides. It wasn't the miners are bad and coal mine. It actually brought all the characters to life in that model.
Dan, is it possible you are really falling in love with the Peladon stories now?
No, that was boring. I would go Green Death over Peladon any day.
Do you know what, Dwayne? I thought we had him then.
No chance.
Wobbs, Doctor Who.
Just like you have me with Fendal, no matter how many pretty pictures you put up.
I tried to see. He noticed what I was doing then.
I don't get it, Dwayne. How can you not like that story?
I feel the same about Peladon with you.
That's weird. No, you can't compare. Okay, the first Peladon's way better than the second Peladon. I'll give you that.
You're not
Bill
going to
Silver,
convince me.
Monster of Peladon was political. Curse of Peladon was political. Green Death was political. We're all different. What about
Kind of what
Sunmakers?
makes them boring. If you get into a political, just pure politics, it's boring. But if you got drama, it's interesting.
The thing is, the Peladon stories were obviously about the EEC in Britain. We all know that. But when you look at the new era, RTD says Brexit. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's just too on the nose.
Too specific.
Yeah.
Do you know what I compare it to? Peladon. The Peladon stories are like the prequel Star Wars, where it's you're sitting there worrying about the machinations of the Parliament of the Republic, and it's like Snorefest.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas the original Star Wars is like the Green Death.
Oh, come on. Surely you wanted that little Arcturus back. Oh, I love little Arcturus. I mean, with his little spin. He was a disco diva. I mean,
Is that the thing that looked like the mutant Khalid from
Yeah.
Genesis of the Daleks?
We didn't need the Vlinks in unit. You just needed Arcturus there with his disco machine. You know, hey, he'd be a good DJ, I think.
I think they put him in a blender and stuck him in the Khalid lab.
yeah. He looked like a gremlin, didn't he? So the show was always good, says Paul Mars, at taking famous stories and turning them wittily inside out. I suppose what we're saying here is homage to Hammer House of Horror.
Yes.
Not
Season
Bridgerton.
13.
Not
14.
Bridgerton.
Not Bridgerton.
Yes. What's your favourite one? If that's the template, Christian, what's your favourite version? You know, when Doctor Who did a famous story and twisted it. What's your favourite one?
Are we talking?
I mean, I'm while you're thinking, everybody. I mean, Pyramids of Mars. A lot of people mention Caves of Androzani being Phantom of the Opera. There's a lot of great, and also Talons of Wen Chian. There's some lovely
that's mine.
Oh, there we go. Talons of Wing Chang.
That's mine.
I have a fondness for Victorian era London. I to this day, I'm still wishing that they had gotten the spin-off we were all imagining was going to be forthcoming with Jago and Lightfoot, and we never got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
See,
And
Robots of Death, even Agatha Christie.
Yeah.
Deadly Assassin, Manchurian Candidate.
Yeah.
Yes.
What came before that? Hand of Fear, don't know.
Robot with King Kong, wasn't it?
Yeah. 13 was just full of those.
Yeah.
The Seeds of Doom was, the thing that came to Earth was a flying 50 storm that was brilliantly homaged in the Seeds of Doom, and Frankenstein in the Brain of Morbius. It was just wonderful.
The whole slew of it.
Stepford Wives in Android Invasion, maybe.
Crimplane here. Crimplane, the androids of Tara being the prisoner of Zenda, of course. Yes, well remembered. Yeah. Yeah. I think we agree with that. Now, Paul Mars also says it's a show that faces outwards, telling stories that bring everyone in. Oh, being inclusive, maybe the whole family. It isn't inward facing and talking only to the fans.
Oh yeah,
agree. 1000%.
Yep.
Yeah.
Give the man a cigar. Absolutely.
So BBC Source, who I was speaking to tonight. Do you see what I mean? A fan should not be running the show. So you go and tell your Kate Phillips friend and tell her that the next showrunner, if they have to have one, is not a Doctor Who fan. It's not necessary. Be brave, be pioneering, and do something bloody different with Doctor Who, because it's got itself into a mess, and you stop pretending and fixing the ratings, pretending all is good with the world. It is not. There you go. High horse.
Can I say one thing about not having a Can I just say one thing about not having a fan running the show? You don't want a fan, but you do want the showrunner to be like a Philip Hinchcliffe, coming in and taking the time to work out, why is this show popular? What's good about it? What do we keep? What do we move forward with? So that in other words, he's not coming with preconceived ideas about, what he wants to bring to the show or what he wants to put in the show. He is, or she, probably he.
But Dan, see, that's the problem. A lot of the people that the BBC seems to reach out to are all going to be
They want to
coming
use
with
it as
some kind
a
of
platform.
agenda.
Yeah, they want to use it as a platform to say something.
Yeah.
I think the
Yeah.
best way of using the word fan is this. If the next showrunner, next showrunner does not have to be a fan. What they have to be is passionate about pushing this program to its limits.
Oh yeah,
That's
definitely.
what I want. That version of fan love. They don't, you know, they'll protect the show, they'll fight for the show, they'll do everything for the show. That's what I want from a showrunner. That's what Verity Lambert did. That's what Philip Hinchcliffe did. That's what Derek Sherman did. That's what they all did. John Nathan Turner. Fighting for the show rather than a bloody fan who's too busy tripping over clips. That's the version I want, I'll be honest with you.
He's almost nailed it in the last sentence there, but where he says inward facing and talking only to fans, well, the show hasn't even been doing that. It has only been talking to certain types of people
Spot on.
who aren't even fans. They're expecting these certain types of people to come in and be fans, and those people don't exist.
Yeah,
That's exactly right.
Agreed.
I mean, in the numbers that they want. That's what I'm saying. Don't cancel it.
Well, I keep getting told they're very happy with the numbers, but if they were living in the
really?
YouTube world, their figures would be crap. Because you can't, I can only count one person once. I can't cheat like the BBC. It feels like there is something at stake in this story for everyone. I think these are all fine. Jeopardy, yeah. A story must generate a feeling of place, somewhere unique and memorable. I mean, just for a second, if I went down the road, lads, starting with Boomer Doug, when you look back at all of Who, which planet or time did you really enjoy the Doctor visiting?
Oh, it's a bit controversial, really. I actually really like the Earthbound stories with John Pertwee, but I guess if I had to name a planet, definitely the Dalek stories are the ones that hit for me. But I really do like the Earthbound ones. I know it kind of goes against the Traveller thing. What I'd like to see, but apparently it doesn't engender much popularity, is a bit more emphasis on actual time travel. And, you know, less to do with the fantasy side of things.
I've got loads I could say, but since this is a sense free, I'm going to say the sense free. What about you, Dwayne?
This is just for you, Brendan.
Yeah.
The Mind Robber stands out to me. It always has, and it always will, as a wonderful. If you're going to generate something that's completely unique and somewhere that generates place, then the Mind Robber is one of those.
Nice choice.
Sorry, I
talk about that.
Yeah, what's going on?
Because I don't like the Mind Robber. What about you, Dan?
Yeah, look, I think the Doctor is always good when it makes atmosphere, and you know, you can see that they're able to create atmosphere on a budget, all through Doctor's history. So, you know, to me, budget's no excuse on that front.
Yeah. Phantom Cat, thank you very much. But I totally agree with you, by the way. Fans allowed into positions of power always become the gatekeepers. That's the danger. I'd rather take the risk of having somebody who has to learn about the show. And as I said, will therefore, I think, probably be more respectful to the formula that we recognise. So thanks for that. So just before I come to Christian, I shall say my usual thank you. With your good. I'll treat the wife to a blue rinse. There you go, Christian. A place you'd love to go back to?
Gosh, for me, it's hard. It's always like saying, let's pick the best. It's hard to pick the best when there are so many good. I guess I would give myself the out by saying any place or time that's not current day Earth. So I love the histories. There's plenty of history to play with that reinforces the idea that you're time traveling and gives you a chance to visit very different cultures as a part of that experience. But just staying off the planet and finding an alternate civilization to explore. If money is not an object, you can do some very good world building.
Bungle Bear, the mind. I see. I will allow other opinions. Allowed. It's allowed. The Mind Robber was outstanding. Thought-provoking TV. Well, yeah, I don't know what medicine were you. What medicine were you on, Bill Silver? I liked stories set on an alien world that was truly alien, not just Crorries. I mean, Planet of Evil is a damn good one. That scared me absolutely. I was bricking it, and that's another homage, isn't it? That one. The Invisible Enemy is a homage to the Fantastic Journey, really, isn't it?
Can we add one thing to no magic rabbits out of the hat, and that is no magic bullshit reset buttons.
Yeah, and no Paul Daniels Doctor. Yeah, I mean, you know, no magician. I don't know.
Just imagine what it was like for a kid in 1963 to be watching the Daleks for the first time.
I don't have to be. I was there.
In itself.
Yeah.
As we were talking about all those, I was just thinking that alien landscape in the Daleks is captivated me, and I saw it for the first time in 1990. So it was, 20 years later, or more than 20, 25. It was incredible then, and it would have been unbelievable in 1963. I can see why Doctor Who became so popular back then.
Amazing.
Some goober edited it all out in the bloody colorization.
Well, I saw them in The Witch is Familiar. They even do the same design of the
I love that.
Absolutely lovely touch, and actually the design in the CGI. Yeah, but that original model, which was it Caroline Ford who said she had the model on her wardrobe for years, and one of the cleaners, she said, over the years, and one day it got smashed. She did have the model of that city. She kept it.
Wow.
I know. Can you imagine that?
It's sad, isn't it?
Honestly, it is. Oh, look, I'll cheer you all up. Shall cheer you all up. I think I should do.
Jack, how is she?
She's dying, Doctor.
You know, this cure Professor Jackett's discovered.
The milk of the queen bats, but the dormant queens cannot be reached. There's little oxygen in those levels.
Jack, you know where the queen bats are?
Of course.
Now, show me the route.
She's dying, Doctor. She's dying, Doctor.
Open your mouth. You must drink this. I see. Professor Jackett's newest stuff. Good old Jackett.
It's a vibe.
You got the bat's milk?
Only enough for you.
God, the Fifth Doctor was a crap milkman, wasn't he? Absolutely.
No wonder he didn't have an extra dose.
I know. So thank you, Garbage Who.
You milked that scene for all it was worth.
I know. That sound of the milk bottle.
I think if you were milking the bats, you'd milk the bat first, take a swig, and then keep going.
Can you imagine? That story would be so different if by the time he climbed through all those caves and he got to the Queen Bat, she was flat-chested. And then it's just end of story. Sorry, Perry, you're going to die. So, Paul Mars also says there must be a battle of wits between the Doctor and the villain who isn't a sloppy CGI Krish. I don't know where he's getting these ideas from, do you? I mean, Sutek was a well-rounded character. Omega was a well-rounded character. I know. I think I think we all agree with that one, don't we? Just
yeah.
real is better.
No argument.
And he also says our heroes have no special knowledge outside of what they have learned about their current environment. I hate that when the Doctor lands and that sonic screwdriver suddenly says, "Oh, this is 1704," or suddenly this is this. That's it. Can't stand that now.
No.
Yeah, one of the problems is it's a little bit like the magic that we talk about being inserted in the story, because they're already coming pre-programmed with whatever knowledge or answer that has to be delineated. It takes away the stakes. Part of the excitement is watching them figure out, learn what they need to know in order to resolve the crisis. And we've lost that.
Yeah, they're not too much. So here we go. The companion. What do you think of this, Dan? While the companion is modern day and our point of view on this alien or historical location, the Doctor dresses like someone from the last century.
Yeah, well, I suppose if you're saying that he should have an Edwardian sort of dapper appearance, I think there's an argument for that. I think Jodie looked great in Capaldi's costume. It wasn't till she costume change that I thought, oh, this is not where I thought it was going to be.
Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, as Christian's been saying, I like the Victoriana. I think it does somehow work. Or the Edwardian type Doctor. There's something about it. It's a silhouette. It works. Or I did like the Eccleston leather jacket and the vest. That seemed to work too. So, I think that's a no-brainer, Doug, that one.
I think there needs to be some sort of distinctive silhouette. I think it also needs to be something that doesn't come across as cosplay, though. It needs to be a proper outfit for whoever the actor is, so, and not like the same thing every week. More like what John Pertwee did, mix it up a little bit, but maintain the silhouette. But
I was just
very
thinking
distinctive.
That.
Yeah,
Pertwee was excellent at that. I loved his introduction. Remember, he's got no clothes to speak of to start, and he went with what was available. And he decided, I like this. This style fits me. It suits this new persona. And it was the same with, he couldn't keep the first car, but they did provide him with Betsy, which was drawn from that. So it's almost perfect in terms of his introduction.
Yeah, agreed.
I'll throw a few. Don't worry. Join in when you want. The companion is an ordinary person, not one in a million who's special.
Oh, fuck yeah. Whoops.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem with RTD. I kind of like it. It's a companion who just gets in the TARDIS and is in awe sometimes, is amazed. This palace of perfection. But basically not this kind of, gosh, Sutek was so perplexed that Ruby Sunday's mum wasn't with her dad, and then go away. What, Sutek didn't destroy the planet because he was trying to do a genealogy chart? I don't get that.
He wanted to know the cliffhanger. Yeah, he wanted to know what the cliffhanger was of what mum was pointing at.
Yeah. Before I kill you all, I just need to do this last jigsaw puzzle. No, you don't. That was not in Pyramids of Mars. Did he have a Did he have a jigsaw? I didn't see one.
No, he did not.
So no, yes, I take your point. Farsight, no, Brendan, the Doctor is not an angel. Oh well, he's Farsight's telling me off big time. Now, the Doctor and companion are both meet amazing secondary characters who the audience love at once. Do you know? Very quickly, I'm thinking of Todd in Kinder, where basically she was the companion in a way for that story. And you wanted Nerys Hughes to join the TARDIS, but maybe best just to enjoy and then they'll leave. You knock out Nyssa from Photo Doomsday. Tegan, you stick on some AstroTurf and she goes doolally. And Adric plays around with some machine. I mean, that's what you do. So, yeah.
Actually, I instantly thought of someone from that season too. The very next story, actually. I love the character Richard Mace in The Visitation. He was so much fun throughout. Yeah, I agree with this 100%. If you get good characters like that, it just keeps you coming back for more.
Well, we've said it already, haven't we, Christian? Jago and Lightfoot.
Oh, yeah. You want more of them.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. Let the special guest shine for those 2 or 3 episodes, and then bye-bye. But the Doctor's there throughout, saves the day, but you get some great guest stars, you know. And then
Well, they were able to even pull it off during the new era with Bernard Cribbins.
Oh,
yeah, good choice. Yeah.
Yeah. So that one works. The Doctor and companion get separated from the TARDIS and then each other somewhere near the start of the adventure. You see, this is like classic. Is this kind of just saying classic Who? Basically. Yeah, the perils of Pauline. And then the companion must at some point fear the Doctor is dead and vice versa. Yep.
Yeah, that works. That works. And one of the nice things about story structures that way, when they separate, very often each of them ends up with a piece of the puzzle that has to be resolved that they can then do once they come back together.
Absolutely.
Now, this one is telling me why Planet of the Daleks, Dan, is so good. The Doctor and companion must be locked together, escape into danger, run down corridors, climb up narrow shafts and through a deadly forest. That is Doctor Who. And I know there's sniffy people out there. There's journalists out there. This is when classic Who used to be ridiculed. Oh, not another corridor chase, not another this. Sorry, that's Doctor Who. That's what worked. And actually lock up the companion and the Doctor and you get a moment like the wine and cheese bit, or you get the bit in later on in Day of the Daleks when they're talking to the controller. That's what you want. I'm sorry. I think you're spot on, Paul, but everybody's sniffy about what he's just said there, aren't they? Because, oh, no, Doctor Who has to be more. It has to be about emotion and existentialism. Oh, crap.
I agree with climbing up narrow shafts, but floating up
Do
them
you
on
now?
a bit of plastic? No.
Yeah, that was...
Okay.
You can always rely on Boomer Doug.
Sorry.
I had a point there, Doug.
Carry on, sorry.
Any excuse for an up-nicker shot.
He was going on about climbing up narrow shafts, and I'm going to show you what Doctor Who is really about. It's about a big swollen head.
Okay.
Only a police box. But with Lynx's new weapon.
Excuse me, could you tell me where the nearest telescope?
Amphibia dog through the forest!
Oh, it must be some sort of pageant.
Who's there? Hey, what are you doing? Get off!
What places did she get here?
This is a rag-dig joke. It's not funny.
I know. There you go. The swollen head I meant. While the companion is modern day and out. Yes, I've done that one. I've obviously gotten feverish. So last few lads. There must be a battle of wits between the Doctor and the villain. We've done that one. Yeah, I'm now ill. It is not clear at first who the baddies and who the goodies are. I don't know if it's a template, that one, but yes, it makes it interesting.
It makes it interesting, Brendan, because it actually gives you a chance for the audience to be deceived, more or less, in terms of what side of the aisle they need to be on for whatever the narrative is. When the reveal happens, they go, "Oh, I was rooting for that person all the time, and I was wrong." It's kind of eye-opening.
The reverse trope of this is what needs to die. And this is crept in modern Who, and that is where you get to the end of the story and the goodies and the baddies are supposedly on the same side. This is a stupid resolution that's come in for modern sensibilities, apparently. But all the baddies are just misunderstood because of systemic racism or systemic inequality or systemic identity, whatever crap. We need to get rid of that.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
it's super boring.
Yeah. I mean, I still think one of the best examples of a range of villainy was Caves of Androzani. You had such a range of villains in that. Whereas in New Who, especially in the last couple of series, Conrad Clark is obviously the baddie because he's so wanting to make him the baddie, although I ended up liking him. but there was no nuance. There was just no shade at all. And that's missing the point. And actually, it makes it dreary. And of course, making the Doctor like this. I mean, who's the baddie here? He's supposed to be the goodie, but he looks like the baddie.
You have put ice in my heart, darling, and I will stand and watch you free.
He's doing an impersonation of Palpatine. How the hell? He's supposed to be the hero, and I'm hating him, and I feel sorry for the terrorist. What's going on?
I still haven't seen that episode, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah,
Oh, you should see it, Dwayne. You love it. It's really good.
Not going to watch it.
Don't bother.
Paul says we see history from the inside as it's happening, rarely in the company of celebrities. I like this point. I thought New Who too much went for the celebrity culture. Queen Elizabeth I meets a Zygon. No. I thought Classic Who did it best. The Doctor refers to Queen Elizabeth I. You don't see him with her. The Doctor mentions Napoleon. We don't see it. I think New Who got too much into that showy-offy, diva-ish Doctor, and I think he got it wrong. It just got it wrong.
Well, it actually breaks suspension of disbelief because it turns a lot of these figures into caricatures, and it takes some of the credible tension out of the stories. Like when looking at the Devil's Court, I look at that and I think the story should not have had the Beatles in it. You could have had a narrative in which the Beatles as an entity were likely to have been destroyed as a result of whatever the threat was, and they have to address the threat, but you never meet the band members directly. You don't have to. You just know that they were a significant part of history, and history is now about to be disrupted, and we can't let that happen. That might have been a more effective way of addressing them. You're referring to them, but you aren't walking the set with them.
That's the problem.
Big Finish
with the
did
modern
that so much
historical-
better. Sorry, Big Finish did that so much better. They actually did a Beatles story without the Beatles in it. It was called Fanfare for the Common Men. So it was where that group that was referenced in An Unearthly Child actually were taking the place of the Beatles, and so they had to work out what had gone on with that. So
I like
it was
that.
a very fascinating story. Yeah.
And
Sorry,
we-
Dan.
That's all right. And Paul says there must be fantastic monsters, and the best ones have a streak of tragedy. I mean, I've got Shara's Jack stuck in my head now a little bit, but there you go. But yeah, you need. I like Magnus Greel, for example. I know he's a villain rather than a monster, but he had a backstory. I kind of liked it. You know, there was a motivation behind it, and all the rest of it. Monsters wise, I mean, Daleks, great. It's such clarity what a Dalek is, and what a Dalek is trying to do. I'm not too sure I want to do the existential stuff with the Daleks, where they spin around like they're on a merry-go-round and spin themselves out of existence. I just like the idea that they have no compromise, and so you have to deal with an uncompromising monster. Fantastic creature. And actually, since I was watching The Witch's Familiar tonight, that one that is a snake, the hooded snake, great face. And when he slides across the floor, I quite like all that. And but which monster is your favorite? I mean, look, take the top 5 out, because we'll end up just doing a lot of them. But if I went to you first, Doug,
It's always me.
I'm sorry.
You're good.
No, but I don't know if I have a favourite monster. I tell you what I do like. I like it when this what's normal and part of our life becomes evil. And I guess an obvious example is the Weeping Angel. I like the idea of making the familiar scary, and like, walking down the street and having a normal life, all of a sudden something comes out and scares you. I like that. But I do like a good scary monster too. I think we need more real monsters.
Well, as
just
the
be
lads are
evil for no
thinking-
reason.
I mean, I'm thinking on my feet. It's hard when you kind of present the show and you've just come up with a question that you hadn't thought about. So I'm
it's
really
hard when you go
trying
first
hard.
too. Yeah.
So, but I am going to say, if they're out of the top 5, that I have to truly say, I think the Zygons did it for me. The
Zygons
original
are clever.
ones. The Zygons I loved. What do you think, Dwayne?
Oh, without a doubt, the Taran Wood Beast. There is a hint of tragedy that you could certainly explore within the Taran Wood Beast, and I would love to see how they get that paper mache to move.
What I can never pronounce it. You know, in the Ribus operation, that monster with the big plastic.
The Shrivenzal.
Yes.
Yeah.
The shrivelly. Yeah.
The
Grant
shrivelly
G.
thing.
Yeah. Grant G. The Mara. Oh yes. Paul Richards. The Zarbi. Great idea.
Yeah, actually, the Zarbi. Because sorry to interrupt, but I've told you this before. When I was a kid, we thought the Zarbis were really scary. I mean, bearing in mind I was about 7. And unfortunately, they don't stand the test of time. But yeah, it's a scary idea.
Well, you lived in Adelaide, so I mean, I suppose.
Well, at the time, I was living in a small Welsh village. But thank you very much.
Green Death.
And that inspired you to put Vaseline on your glasses, Doug.
Yeah, we're going to do
put it elsewhere.
We're going to do 1-to-1 with Boomer.
Can always
Doug,
rely on you, Doug.
We do ask Boomer Doug this because he left Wales because of the giant maggots, didn't you?
I did. It was
ran
a
away
scary
from them
time.
big time. All good stuff, but let's face it. This
I
is
thought it was because you had a bit of fungus.
You get very naughty, these detoxes, aren't Kamikaze, the Slither deserves its own story. The Slither. The Hemovores says Farsight, who keeps reminding me there was a Sylvester McCoy era. I forgot, sorry. So we've really gone to town on the Paul Mars guidelines. I called it the master plan because I knew what I was doing. Andrew Cartmel had a shorter one, I'll be honest with you. The Doctor is a burned out hippie. So is there anything, lads, we've missed out? If you were coming up with your own guideline, is there something that Paul has not mentioned that you think we should mention for another series of Doctor Who? That's a tricky one, so I'm going to keep talking until somebody says they've got something to say. Because
don't ask me first.
Well, I would say we need to go back to a longer run, and if that means the shorter installments, i.e., with the cliffhangers, do that to stretch it out. We talked about doing cliffhangers, but if they decide they just want to do 3 stories with 6 30-minute segments, that's not quite it. You want something that the good old days where it lasts at least half a year and stretch it out so that it really can make an impact socially.
Jess Corbin, if you're answering my last question saying, what about scares, what about tension, I agree. That's why I always throw this in.
Mayday, it's the engineering ship. Our position is...
Sea devil!
You will obey my order, Chief Petty Officer. You will obey me.
You will do as you're blooming well told. But yes, the fear factor. So Dan, is there a rule that we've missed that we should abide by?
No, I agree with it. It needs to be scary. It needs to.
That's a given.
It's a thrill. I think the other thing is we mentioned historicals before. I think we should stay clear of modern historicals. I think I think you get away with more ancient history type historicals. If you could, the closer you come to modern day, the more risk of agency or stepping on political landmines. And I think it's just there's a smart reason why you focus on allegory with those. Because,
agreed.
Rosa was a good example. I mean, once you put the Doctor on the bloody bus, they were then stuck with the problem with, well, what do you do without stealing Rosa Parks' agency?
Yeah,
and then the worst thing that could happen is you force the Doctor to sit there and just suck it up, which isn't Doctor Who.
No.
Dwayne, have you got any other rules we've missed out?
No other ones, but I guess the ones that stand out to me are to just enjoy the the journey. Have the characters enjoy the journey, look at the now, look to the future, don't look back at the past, and make it accessible to everybody.
Yeah.
Big one, big one.
I mean, I'll always be honest. Episode 4s of Classic Who were never the best ones. So the destination wasn't what Doctor Who was about. So in a way, I'm agreeing with Dwayne that enjoy the journey of parts 1, 2, and 3 as well, which is just the uncovering of everything. Part 4 was always a little bit whatever, but I enjoyed that journey on the way.
Come on, watching Davros get exterminated at the end of Genesis was pretty cool.
That was a good one. I didn't expect that, and I should have done, because almost that's a Frankenstein at the end. Yeah, Christian, I've a rule from you. Have you got another one?
You didn't have a rule for me, but I would put one provision in, which is listen to the fans as you're in the process of producing the stories and putting them out. If you hear there's a huge outcry, respond to it, and respond to it in a meaningful way. Because if you've made a misstep, you need to find a way to correct it. That's the one thing that New Who has been terrible about. They are tone deaf to the people that they should be listening to. That needs to be a part of the culture of whoever does the next version.
Stephen O'Neill, golden rule, broadcast it in the autumn and on Saturdays at tea time. I think it needs dark nights. I agree with you. Squinty Mint. Historicals are a good example of things fans say they want, but I don't think they resonate with the general public's expectations of the show, especially not now if they're going to start to change what history looks like.
Yeah.
But Innes Lloyd said that. When Innes Lloyd took over, what did he do? He got rid of the historicals. He just said, no, we're moving on. Monster season, really. Moondust. Any plot points to have a resolution that makes sense? Yeah. And we've said no resets, none of this member berries crap. So there we go, lads. We've done it. We've gone around the Magrs Masterplan. I'll have to get you all on doing your own master plan. Now, pure historical, I even saw one of your adverts today. You were Blake Sevenin in a way.
Oh, yes. Yes,
Yeah.
we've just dropped an extensive interview with Stephen Greif, who played the first Travis, of course. And originally he was interviewed for the Sirens of Audio, and of course he passed away a couple of years ago now. But I think our interview with him would have been the last one. It's never been seen before because Stephen, when he was alive, requested that it not be seen. He wanted it just as an audio. But we've released it with all the extra bits now on our Blake 7 channel, Blake 7 The Way Back. So that's out and available now.
Sirens of Audio. There you go. I did see the advert today. I told you. You see. So there you go. Christian is writing away. He's like Murder, She Wrote. He's typing like hell. One day we'll see what he's actually written, and we might even see it on TV or in Hollywood. You never know. You never know. These things happen.
That would be nice.
It would be nice. It'd be lovely for you to see you get what you deserve. Any more microplastics in your little plastic factory, Dan?
No, poor old fella's just sitting here looking lonely.
Oh, well,
there you go.
He's a good one. He's a good one. And of course, we've got the fall guy. Sorry, the spy guy. We've got Doug. How many channels have you got now? Is it?
Well, actually, I had 3, but I've dropped one because no one's watching it. Yeah, look, it's all the same stuff, really. But I have done, as you know, a kind of a what if trailer of what the reboot should look like, starring a very familiar face as my placeholder doctor. And I have sent Brendan quite a few clips, which he may show at some point. And it's had a lot of positive response too. So apart from that, same old stuff.
No, everybody, please check out Sirens of Audio. Please check out Boomer Doug's channels, Spy Guy, Man from Uncle, all that sort of stuff. It's great stuff. They've both got very good voices as well for podcasts.
Thank you very much.
Very good voices. So,
actually, could I mention one other thing that I?
Yep.
Sure.
One other thing that I've been doing on my pure historical channel, if anyone's interested, is that I put together audiobooks as well for certain things, and I started doing this for my kids. But I've done a series of audiobook readings of these. I don't know if Does anyone remember those? Alfred Hitchcock and the Three Investigators? I'm working on that book at the moment as an audio book, but I've got about 5 or 6 on the channel that I've already done. So, and as I said, I originally did it for my kids so they could listen to my voice while they were going to sleep. But plus, they're really good stories too.
They really
back
are,
to my childhood. Lots of guys got into the Hardy Boys, but I was always tended to go for the Three Investigators. So check those out on the Pure Historical channel if you like.
I was more into the Hardy Boys than Nancy Drew, I must admit.
I'm shocked.
I'm making this up. Right.
Oh, you are making it up.
Yeah, totally making everything up. But the Brendan master plan, it goes all over the place. Thank you, everybody. Garbage has been working like a Trojan there. I'll get talking to him as well because me and Stefan are going to do a missing episode soon as well. But thank you, lads. It's been a pleasure as always and great fun. So thank you for your time, and we'll see, and we'll do it all again, I hope.
Toodaloo.
Thank you. See ya.
See you guys.